What do you say? What do you know? Welcome back to Karandrin Role Playing. My name is Kevin Manus Pennings, also known as Cracked Palantir. And we are here for episode 44 of Brise's Tale. It promises to be a really interesting one. And as always, my buddy Max is here to play Brise the Paladin. And I'm always glad he's around. So, Max, say hello to the nice people.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. Hopefully you were here last time and got to see that crazy eventful session. And if not, we're going to do a little recap for you. So no worries. Welcome.
So last time, Max, old buddy, we sort of had, you mentioned after the stream, it was sort of like a 2-act play.
Yeah, it really was.
So Act 1, what happened?
Well, Act 1, I sat down with my beau, my significant other, Aldruff, and we had a hard talk about, doing this, about the idea of me teleporting to the prison of the Demon Crown at the lip of the volcano in some undisclosed location that we don't know yet. And I mean, obviously I couldn't tell him all that, but basically telling him that he might not see me again after tomorrow if things go south. And that was a pretty hard talk. Ended in, it didn't end. It actually escalated until we had some intervention by Doshrik. Ended up putting a sleep spell on Aldruff because he was getting too loud, and definitely some things were overheard by spies or other people in the house that probably shouldn't have been.
Right, and here we're talking about Miagral's keep. Lady Miagral is a goblin noble, and while she's a fairly straight shooter, she's one careful cat. Mm-hmm. And she does not. She doesn't just take anything for granted. She assumes that she has to keep her eye on everything. And so while Adabir, your wizardly friend, is trying to help you, and he has made certain promises to Miagral, we have learned that she has spies in your section of the castle, mm-hmm. To keep an eye on things. And here Aldruff is yelling out alarming things like, is no one going to let me, is no one going to help me stop her from throwing her life away?
Right.
Which doesn't need to be shouted out. Don't know what we're doing here, shouting out those sorts of things.
And because of that, Doshrik decided to take action and escort me out of the keep. Just to, I'm crucial to this puzzle right now, so I can't be at risk of being captured, or really any of the apprentices or wizards. So we all kind of hunkered down. I went to the inn in town and disguised myself. Met up with one of the apprentices, Batherin, to just kind of make sure we're keeping each other safe. And then I woke up the next day and went ahead with the actual teleport in secret at a location. We don't even know where it was, but in kind of just a field somewhere. Definitely trying to keep everything under wraps.
And it seems to be, and I probably should have told you this last time, you spotted an open field for your own purposes.
Right.
That would be, let me think. I'm drawing a blank here. That'd be west of the keep. Mm-hmm. Almost due west of the keep is in the valley west of you, on the western side of your mountain that the keep resides on. That's the field that you have spotted out. They seem to be further north, down that valley. So, which is not, they're several miles away. It's right. That seems close, but it's not, and presumably one that they had scouted out quite a while later. quite a earlier. Oh man, I forgot to turn on my damn wireless. There's going to be a bit of a hiccup.
Oh no.
I know I'm going to do this really quickly while we have very
Right.
few viewers.
Well, I can keep going through the description here. So after we got
Okay.
teleported to the field, then Act 2 began, which is we did a little bit of a ceremony to kind of make sure the guards are thinking that we're not trying anything fishy. And I snuck into we had a tent set up, snuck into the tent, and have teleported successfully to the volcano. Witnessed the demon Kralum in the flesh, in the icy chitin, whatever he is, in his physical form, chained
right.
above the magma. It was quite an intimidating sight. I'm unharmed. Verlag's defenses have not. The sorceress Verlag, who has imprisoned the demon and who is somehow inextricably connected to me, it has not set off her magical defenses or alerted her to my presence. So we are definitely good there. And we kind of left off just me exploring the part of the layer that she's kind of made for herself. And at some point, we'll keep exploring and then eventually teleport back to inform all of our friends back home.
Right.
It was successful. The ceremony was successful.
Right. Yeah. The guards that were sent with Adabir and the apprentices, they're keeping a very close eye on the wizards and Adabir, the wizard, and the apprentices. And you were sort of playing the part of a gopher, and and Adabir would send you on various tasks and so on. They set up a tent to cover the equipment and to give the very, very elderly Adabir a place to rest. But really, its purpose was to give you privacy so you could teleport in and out, and it'd be just like you were just an attendant waiting in the tent this whole time.
Mm-hmm.
While they distracted the guards performing a false ceremony, and then off you would teleport, and now you're exploring this place. You've gone around about 1/3 of the main opening of the volcano. You have just now crossed the bridge of Kralum's volcanic cell, volcanic prison. You have looked into this smaller opening, a smaller lake of lava through a narrow passage through the cone of the volcano. It's a very irregular shape. It's not these perfect cones that we drew as kids. I at least drew them as kids. You did the fire coming straight out. I don't know if you remember that, but anyway, yeah, it always goes just like that. It's like a tree trunk with smoke on top. And I miss doing that, honestly. I'm not gonna lie to you. But and so there you saw that there were anchor points. Though no chains, there were anchor points ready for the same types of chains that hold Kralum.
Right.
And that suggests that she was planning 5,000 years ago that once she caught one, she would continue capturing them and gaining power, at least one more, and maybe there was a particular reason for that one. I mean, maybe she had contact.
I am Verlag, and I have an addiction to capturing demons and harnessing their power.
Hello,
Just one more.
Exactly. Is that what? It'd be Demons Anonymous? Or Demon Imprisonment?
Anonymous.
Demon Imprisonment Anonymous.
There's very few members. It's very, very niche.
And your counselor is a demon saying, yeah, please stop. That's just really, that's right.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, so I guess we're going to keep exploring for as long as I feel comfortable.
I mean, you're not comfortable now. I mean,
no, I meant as long as I feel. I don't know how long it seems like they can keep up the act back there. How long a time?
Right.
Good.
Yeah, probably.
I mean, would he have mentioned to me? I know he didn't, but is that something he would have rolled for? Like, did he say? Like be
Um,
back in a certain amount of time, or was it just wild? Because my fear is
um,
something going wrong back there, and I teleport back, and then everything's kind of gone awry.
he told you that they would improvise as long as they could, and if he had to step out of the improvisation, then he simply would,
Okay.
and let them continue.
Okay. Seems like
Um,
quite a broad.
yeah, because they know this is a huge opportunity,
Right.
and they don't know what complications to expect.
So I will take my time and explore as much as I can. Sure.
All right, let's continue the exploration. Why don't you roll for me?
80. And so I'm just
So,
walking along the rim now. That's been carved, not even carved, smooth, magically smoothed.
yeah, it certainly seems that way.
Yeah.
You're at the far foot now of the bridge, the far end of this little bridge that goes over this, oh, I don't know, probably 15-foot stream of lava that connects the two lakes. The larger one holds Kralum, and none of these are perfectly, it's all very irregular and so on,
Yeah.
and so as you turn, just sort of looking at this new angle into the smaller lake, you can see that there is a ledge there, walkway there, smooth, and there are bags over there, chests. You can just see the ends of it.
Okay.
Items piled up.
Oh my gosh. Imagine she has some like really powerful magical items that we could just like harness and use.
You just want a spider, you just dump them all in the lava and just keep exploring. You're like, well, hey, shouldn't put them near a volcano. Did you get volcano insurance? No.
Volcano insurance.
So
Very common among sorcerers, actually.
that's right. My brother Andrew had this joke about, do you want spontaneous crater insurance? I can guarantee that your house will not blow up tonight. For a small payment of $1,000.
Not winking. There's just something in my eye.
Exactly. It's not gunpowder either. I tell you that. That'd be ridiculous right there. Who would be having that much gunpowder? Who would walk with an uncovered wheelbarrow of gunpowder to your basement? That's what I want to know. That sounds reckless, but well worth $1,000 to prevent.
To insure your property.
So
look, there's chests and things. Does it look like there's another way down to that second ring?
So it looks like you would have to, you cross the bridge, and then you would go all the way around the rim of that smaller lake of fire.
Yeah.
Get to those items.
Oh wow. Okay.
To get to that stockpile, unless you want to use magic to fly over there, in which case, you'll be there in a couple of rounds.
Yeah. No, we're just going to keep walking around, I think. Good to note. Lots of chests. Actually, I mean, that, it's an interesting thought is, are they like covered at all? They're not like, tucked away. They're just,
I mean, you can only see sort of the end of what is clearly a fairly high pile. I mean, we're talking like 5 or 6 feet of stuff sort of piled up against the slope.
Wow. Yeah. And protected from the elements, but I wonder if this whole place is guarded from the elements anyway.
But then, you've been protected from the worst of the elements. So presumably they would be.
Yeah.
And of course, she's not going to put anything fragile over there in the sense of can't take water, can't take snow, although how much snow makes it down here? It's crazy. They've got active volcanoes under the Antarctic ice.
Really?
Those are the most recent. Yeah, those are the most recent discoveries. And so, but because they've got 2 miles of ice on top of them, they're just capped, even though they're fully active.
So what happens?
Well, eventually, we know what's going to happen. Eventually that ice is going to thin because we're idiots, and then it's going to and then they're going to erupt normally.
I was thinking if it tries to erupt like normally right now, it's just like sounds painful for the earth. You know, trying to pass a kidney stone.
It's not past the kidneys. Actually, in Earth, that's where Kralum is imprisoned. But I don't want you to.
It's more fun to role play. I'd rather not go to Antarctica.
Okay.
I think we'll just stay in the comfort of our homes.
Yeah, that's yeah. The Alaska-like area of my world, at least one part of it, the nearest part of it to you, is called the Bitter. That's
yeah.
that's the far north. So yeah, you just continue. There is a spot of stairs that work their way up to a higher part of the rim. And you sort of, go up one step and just kind of peek. And there's a platform there that is set with this jade-like tile, very large, 14 to 18-inch tile squares, each with runic symbols on them. Your guess is it's going to overlook some part of the valley. There's a sense of the wind there that there's a great deal of drop.
Yeah.
And so maybe that's some form of magical lookout for her, just a vantage point maybe. The runes seem to signify something. Why don't you make a runes roll? We'll just see if.
Pretty sure I don't have a lot of confidence in my rune skill, but let's give it a shot. It's a 17. Okay.
Yeah. Your first thought is that they deal with healing. And so maybe that's a place she goes if she fumbles some of these high-level spells.
Sure, yeah.
So
well, I can not take that path right up the stairs and continue.
Right. It just makes a little, like a rampart in a castle. You can walk by the stairs. The stairs are parallel to the walkway.
Right.
Where's the camera? They go up and you can just go right on by.
Yeah.
You're now basically at Kralum's hind quarter, so you've basically gone halfway around. He says, "Am I everything you'd hoped? Am I the majestic monstrosity you had prayed that your adventuring heart would see?"
I guess I'll have a conversation with this guy. Why not? I didn't even imagine such things existed.
It does bring to the way he is behaving certainly brings to mind the deference that Adabir showed him when they spoke together.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah, Adabir kind of.
You are really sort of stuck in a battle between two rulers.
Right.
Certainly of different classes. It's a bad word to use in role playing, but different. Orders of magnitude. There's the mathematical term, right?
Yeah.
Roll for me.
14.
Dice are not your friend today.
No.
And I should remind you of your miracle roll.
Oh, yes.
And for any new watcher, our miracle rolls, you get one per session, something I came up with decades ago, just for goofs. And you throw out a question, I approve it, you roll 100, and then I have to make it happen. I have to, make sure that occurs. I choose that, however. I can't have you dictating everything. And so we've had some come true. Not yet have we had one for Max.
But to be fair, I forget to use them quite a bit.
This is true.
I just get too caught up in the story.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I should probably try to influence it a little bit.
take advantage. A little metagaming.
Mhm.
I don't love metagaming, but a little metagaming I get. It's a tough game. It's a very tough game. This game. You as you come to his very hind part, right, with the great tail. It's clearly the being the furthest part from the fires of the mountain. It's clearly the coldest, and it's you get sort of a touch of that cold being this high up near it, and it is a cold not just of the body but of the soul. It's a very through-going experience, that pierces you despite the fact that you're also a little warm. And he says to you there that if you look out over the mountain, over the rim of the mountain, that is where one of my great lieutenants fell in his effort to free me. So there, somewhere on the mountainside, or perhaps further along in the valley, his great slimy form could still be bubbling after 5,000 years.
Wow.
So several more minutes of walking and just looking. There were clearly elements on this side of the rim down below the walkway that were smoothed, sort of smooth, blocky forms were carved from the rock. Nothing seemed to have come out of that effort, like it was unfinished. But there are three separate squares, about 3 foot square. I mean, very large squares in which maybe runes were supposed to be carved, something else was supposed to be mounted. But for whatever reason, it remains unfinished, or its true purpose is hidden from you by magic.
Probably that. Knowing Brise's reasoning.
Highly suspicious.
Okay.
So, you make it around back to where you began.
All right.
I mean, it's been a good little trek. And while obviously the smaller of the volcanic openings in the distance remains for you to explore, clearly this is the troubled area.
Right.
This is the priority.
Yeah. All right. Well, I've explored all of it. I'm sure there's no immediate danger. There's still some questions I have, but I'd rather bring the magical experts in rather than try to explore the stuff myself. So I think I'm going to say my goodbye to Kralum and teleport out of here.
He says, "You are right to take this risk. I am loath to admit being wrong, but here I am happy to be wrong. Free me, and you free yourself, daughter of man."
That's my goal. That is.
Gotcha!
Yeah, been trying to do that the whole time, but glad we're on the same page.
That's right.
I say, hopefully it will be very soon. And I'm going to teleport out of here.
All right, so here's a terrific time for a drum roll.
For a fumble? What?
Well, it's a fun time for a fumble.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't see any of Quinn Obi-Wan in the chat, our usual attendees. So
we may have some illnesses taking people out.
might, yeah. So I think what we're gonna do here.
You're gonna do it. You're gonna provide it.
What are you talking about?
Mind your own business, Kevin.
There you go. I guess we'll just. Oh, look at that! Yeah, someone's giving me a draw. Fantastic.
I know that guy.
Oh wow! Thanks. All right, I'm gonna teleport out of here, and that's a 37.
All right, and
okay.
roll to aim.
What I need. We're teleporting back to the tent. Right.
Yes.
So inside the tent. Oh, 93 to aim.
Beautiful. You appear. Remember to erase your exhaustion as well. I assumed you're using your
channeling helm.
Yeah. And take off the gear that they provided. And you were supposed to return. And what was the signal that you're back? Just wasn't it like you come out and check on them, or?
Let me check. Cover stories. This ritual is too dangerous to do in the keep. We're going to appear drawn. Go into the teleport when I return. Stay in the tent for a bit. Yeah, I think I just
step back out.
Step out and say, "Oh yes, I'm here again."
How are things going, Master?
Yeah.
As you step out, you can see that Adabir is being helped just now from the field.
Okay.
Karandrin is continuing to chant. You sort of emerge to help him, as though you're his attendant,
Right.
He reaches for you to support him. He gives Dashrik a sweet squeeze and says, you and Karandrin continue the ritual for a bit longer, and then come join us in the tent. And we'll leave as soon as I'm rested. And so in you two go. Dashrik takes a position out in the field across from Karandrin. And he resumes his own chants and hand gestures. You come in and help him down to a chair that was brought, along with the wagon.
Right.
His eyes are a glitter, just with anticipation. Have we learned much? He whispers. Have we learned much?
Very, very much. Things have gone exceptionally well.
What was he to look upon? And clearly your face changes.
Yeah.
And he just falls silent and just shakes his head at, sort of envy in a way, He said, you were brave to undertake this. This will save us weeks. We can now begin studying the runes and enchantments in earnest, carefully, using our own arts to pry their secrets away from their owner, and therein we may find their undoing.
Indeed.
And then, my friend, we may be able to take such sum of power from this beast and this sorceress who would use it for ill, and I may get some of my life back, and both of us can serve the communities that we encounter. Roll for me.
83. He's going off on quite a bit. Pretty excited.
He seems very earnest.
Yeah.
But it's not, I mean, yes, him just restoring some youth and feeling better, it's important, yes. But so is his original goal.
Yeah,
Or
his ideals that demonic power can be used to better.
Right.
Yeah.
That wasn't just some sort of ruse to get you to come along.
Right. And that he still kind of has the main goal in mind. Yeah. No, I guess I just want to, I would say, I mean, I do want to be cautious though. There's a lot there. I did not understand many runes and the place has been altered greatly by magic. What enchantments are there? I don't fully understand.
Such an environment would have to be protected from its own elements, I don't doubt, especially if it's going to be a stable prison. Not to mention to make it comfortable for human occupancy, even if short term. Tell the other two to come in and rest. And if you would, just busy yourself stamping out the markings that we've made. Cover them with sod and so on, as though we're hiding our secrets from passers-by or unwanted eyes. We'll maintain this illusion for as long as we can. But even so, hopefully even for Miagral's purposes, we can legitimately say we've made progress.
Yeah. I do, say it's like, well, I guess it's lucky she didn't bring any wizards herself to the place to, verify that the ceremony was not what it seemed.
I had thought of that.
Yeah.
My suspicion is that at least one of the guards is a wizard. I would have done so. But what advantage we have is that everyone involved knows that we're attempting to create experimental magic.
Right.
Therefore, if they didn't understand it, it wouldn't be a great surprise.
They don't understand it.
There was enough real magical terminology in the gobbledygook we were spouting that pertained to life and preservation and healing, that it cannot be entirely discounted that we were serious in our endeavors.
I could come back from the volcano and accidentally summoned like a demon, I said the wrong words.
We actually made Kralum younger. That's not, I didn't think that's what we were up to.
Well, it's one way to solve our problem.
That's interesting. We have an infant Kralum. He's too small for the chains. He falls through, incinerates. Verlag is thrown back into her prison. You're freed. Way to go.
Boom. Nice
and
work.
That's hashtag demon abortion. So please post in the comments below and to Max's post box.
And
that's PO box.
There goes our stream.
Hey, so in this era of cancel culture, why aren't we okay with abortions? Huh? Anybody?
Oh, he went there.
That's fantastic.
He went there.
I'm going to be spreading that one around. That's really funny to me. Max is like, all of our hard work, Kevin. And now it's in the shitter.
44 episodes for what?
Exactly. One excellent abortion joke. That's what. Cancel culture is fine until the second trimester. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm aborting this right here.
Exactly.
You know.
So man, where is Quinn when we need him? Right? He would be cracking some shit right up against us. It would be hilarious.
Would.
So.
All right. Well, there he is.
There you are.
His own magic words.
That's right. He said the words with his
So
mouth.
I'll do it out of your set and go out of the tent and usher the other apprentices back in and start stamping out the runes, whatever symbols there are. And there's little graffiti Miagral sucks. I'll make sure to get rid of it.
That's right. Especially that one, right?
Yeah.
Especially that one. And it takes you some minutes you're kind of taking your time. You want everybody to rest. There's no rush now.
Right.
The guards have largely, there's one still just kind of watching you, kind of halfway between you and the tent.
Right.
And the other two or three are sort of, one sort of moved over to the horses and so on, and a couple are standing by the actual tent. Roll for me.
34.
It's definitely one of the two by the tent. You feel it must be the wizard, must be the magic user. They're super uncomfortable in the armor. But
the other one's a really long beard and a funny hat.
And he puts on a beard as a disguise that covers his normal beard.
That's hilarious.
Son of a whore! Why did I not think of a better disguise?
He looks uncomfortable in the armor. Kind of, he doesn't really.
And so does the other one. So you're like, well, maybe they both are, or maybe it's just new armor. But if you had to put your money on, it's going to be one of those two, not one of those two.
Right.
And of course, it would make sense to station them by they would have a plan to stay near the wizards.
Right.
To overhear what's being said. So yeah, it's packed up. It's mid-afternoon. They start breaking things down. And the hope is to try to be back to the keep by nightfall.
Okay.
Although obviously, it's made mention of that it's okay if you have other plans after this. And that's kind of discussed in the tent out of earshot so that it appears that this was always the plan and that,
right.
You guys have some sort of cohesiveness. What is your plan, do you think? You obviously have Aldrich back at Miagral's keep.
Definitely want to prioritize seeing him again.
Right.
Of what happened last night. And I mean, I guess I should stick around because I don't know when we're going to need, to discuss.
Oh, that's true. You have to debrief.
Probably want to relay all this information, right? So.
Right.
In privacy. So, yeah, we'll just stick with everyone for tonight.
Right.
Keep.
Yeah. So you guys just ride all the way to dark.
Mm-hmm.
And around dark, you hit the foot of the mountain on the edge of town, and then working your way up, and you're basically making it to the courtyard, sort of late supper time.
Yeah.
Doshrik tells you as you guys near that he's been resting in that parlor for fear of being moved and so on. That's the story they've given.
Right.
He'll recover slowly. It was just a sudden onset fever, no doubt the chill of the mountains and that sort of thing.
No, I mean, I'll have to see when I see him, but do I try to play along with that? Like, oh, a spell must have overcome a spell.
It's
I
I mean,
yeah.
clearly it had to be magic that did this.
Right, but does he know? And that's the thing. And do I want to complicate it by telling him?
Right. That's a messy. It's a messier question. Absolutely.
I think maybe we'll just, if it comes up, I'll roll to see how I feel about hiding that from
Sure.
him. Yeah.
And that's where you pencil in your miracle roll. You're like, oh God, I want to save this relationship.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough.
You know what cracks me up, by the way, about you misspelling names in the notes is you see the captions right there. It's right there, the spelling of it.
I could have sworn that was spelled differently like a month ago, and like now it's suddenly Aludrif. I'm like, I don't remember it being spelled like that. You know what it probably is, though? It probably is just that I familiarize myself with the spelling, and when I see it, I don't make the cognitive thing like, oh, that's spelled differently. I just say, oh, that must be that word, and keep going.
Right.
I'm not in like a spell checking mindset. I'm in just a comprehension mindset. Yeah.
The example I like to draw about that for everybody is three of the most famous superheroes there are. And when you really think about their names, they're just completely stupid names. Superman.
Yeah.
Batman. What the hell? And Spider-Man.
Yeah. Terrible. If you tried to make like another superhero based off of that, it'd be like, why would you do that?
Right.
Man.
Right. And there are a few that have done it that are still, like Marvel has a much later superhero called Power Man. Terrible.
Yeah.
And not a particularly interesting character, honestly. And there are a few like that where you're like, pass. Just pass.
No, thank you.
Yeah, just get rid of them. It's funny what you can get away with. It just really is. It's funny what you can get away with.
Right.
So you guys make it back.
Mm-hmm. Good point, Quinn. Iron Man. It's another really popular one,
right?
Especially now with the movies.
Right. Okay. As you ride up, roll for me.
19.
Jeez. You're just still processing things.
Yeah.
There's some commotion at the keep, but you're just thinking about, you're dreading Aldrich, and you're dreading Aldrich in the future, and you're dwelling on Kralum in the past, just the sight of him and just the magnitude of him, the malevolence of him.
Yeah.
And
I don't notice the bolt flying toward me.
You don't notice that everybody's looking up, especially goblins.
Oh.
And they're worried. But it doesn't matter. You don't notice any of that. And only later.
You sure? Okay.
Yeah.
Damn it.
It's one of those things where later you'll process it, and you'll go, oh.
Max already understands. But okay.
Yeah.
We'll just play that. I'm like, okay.
You know how you don't hear something, you say, what did you say? And then someone will say something, you go, oh yeah, I heard every word of that.
Yes.
But
you're just stalling for time because you're not understanding it.
Right.
Yeah. Exactly.
I had a buddy who I role played with, and he was very combative as a player.
Yeah.
Right. And so I would say, well, you just didn't notice it. And he goes, how did I not notice it? My eyes saw it. And I said, well, okay, buddy, tell me every license plate out in the parking lot.
Right.
You saw it, buddy. Let's hear it. And of course, he can't do it. And you know, there's a lot of things like that in our life. I don't recognize how much people hate me, but it's a lot.
Yes.
um, so, um, so you guys are back at Lady Mugraw's Keep.
Right.
You know, you turn right and go around the courtyard to the large quarters provided for you. The coach and the wagon are unloaded. Adabir has been napping most of the way. And he gets out with surprisingly more energy, probably due to a potion that he had tucked away. And you know, everyone goes their separate way with the understanding that you know, they'll be meeting later tonight for a full debriefing.
Right.
And we've got to get it done today and probably again tomorrow morning. We're going to do a second one, because after that, from lunch on, it's possible that Tegrith could return. Right. Not likely, but it's possible. I really do need to do a caption for Tegrith, and I'm
forgot. Can you edit captions or no?
Yes.
Okay, good. Yeah, we should add a note about him. His own plans, his own designs that he has working against ours. Yeah,
There we go. Sorry, gang, for pausing just so I can type this up. There we go. So you arrive. As you know, Aldrich is in the upstairs parlor. What do you want to do? Go freshen up and then head to the parlor?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little scared of even interacting with him, because I don't know if it'll turn into like another, you know what I mean? Is it better if I just like wait, save that for tomorrow? No, I mean, that would seem bad if he knew I was back and they didn't check on him. I am kind of concerned for him too. So
right.
Yeah, let's freshen up, head back and check on him. And at least hint at the good news, I think, is what we can do.
Right. We've got the Tegra one ready. Can I say, just as an aside, that I'm proud of the scheme that they used to distract the guards and hide your teleportation to and from and all that, because I came up with all of that on the fly.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, they had that like planned.
No, I came up with that. I was like, oh, they got to have this, they got to have this, they got to have this. Okay, that all works out. So I was proud of that. I was like, huh, I can't see a huge stupid hole there.
Yeah, I was kind of concerned about like the idea of a wizard being able to tell they're just doing malarkey, but like you said, it's a new magic, so that kind of plan.
Right. So that the fact that nothing happened, well, it just means it's one of a million failures that's going to happen until they get it right.
Right, exactly. And it'll be great because the debriefing will seem like just the discussion of what went wrong today.
Exactly. Everybody's going to talk about how it's your fault. Oh my God.
Just like we're all whispering and then yell, damn it, Brise. Like the guards like, write that down.
They all said, damn it, Brise, quite a lot. I don't know. They should watch their language.
He's always screwing up everything.
Do you kiss your other spies with that mouth? What? So why don't we have you? You find Doshrik, and you're like, look, we gotta let this play out.
Sure,
Um,
yeah, it's a good idea. Talk to him first.
and um, yeah, he's amenable. He's like, that is my first priority. Um,
I do ask Dosh real quick because I remember I asked him to tell Aldrich that I was sorry for what happened and I'll be back soon. Did he deliver that message and did he have a reaction? Probably would have discussed it on the wagon ride.
I decided that I could not risk waking him. It would seem that he would be cured too soon,
Okay,
and it would not seem legitimate.
that's fair.
So I'm sorry, but the circumstances do not permit me.
Okay, that's fine. Actually, I mean that's probably for the better because
You just stand over him with your spear. Yeah, so I want to apologize.
have you ever tried roasted chicken?
Exactly.
Chicken on a stick.
That's right.
Kebab.
Skewer. Emphasis on skewer.
Gosh.
Um,
Okay, and then I just tell him that I do need to bring this up with him.
so he tells you that he'll simply stand outside the parlor, the door cracked, you just give a nod, and he'll just cancel the magic and close the door.
Okay.
And I was thinking, so you guys walk up to do that. You want to take a break, and then we'll come back and we'll let that unfold next.
Sure.
Does that sound good?
Like a plan.
Yeah. So, guys, just hang with us for a few minutes. We're going to go freshen our beverages, and I hope you go do the same and come back with us, and we'll see how and what shakes out after a rough departure, rough parting of the ways between Aldrich and Brise. So just hang with us through the break. We'll see you in a few minutes. Well, hello, gang. Welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us through the break. As you may recall, we are looking at waking up a possibly very angry Aldrich. I should switch him back to our caption here.
Very sleepy, very angry.
Um, so you guys go into the parlor, and he's been spread on a couch. He's been given, there's, hot cloth on his forehead. There's tea beside him, various packets of herbs. There's the there's some sort of physician beside him. Doshrik, comes in and shoos them all away and says that he's going to try an enchantment on him, and that he'll need absolute quiet. Gets rid of them, and then sort of bows to you and steps outside and leaves the door crack and simply watches you.
Okay. And so then I just like kind of give him a
nod
and say, I'm ready. Yeah.
He closes his eyes for a moment, shuts the door quietly. A moment later, Aldrich's breathing changes. His eyes open. He's confused, and then he's mad, and then he's relaxed, and he looks at you questioningly. He said, "What?"
I say, everything's okay. Nothing is amiss.
He rubs his neck and sits up. He's like, "How long have I been out? What happened?"
Well, so I guess now we have to see, do I feel, what do I think is a better approach? Should I just like honestly tell him, or
you don't like lying, as I recall.
No, yeah, I don't.
So you just put him to sleep again. All right. And that's what your relationship is.
He just wakes up. What happened?
Well, this. It felt very much like this.
Well, yeah, I mean, let's see how we put it lightly. I'll just kind of bend the truth a little bit just to say that, well, I mean, we were worried about how angry, how upset you were, and how much of a commotion there was. And so we tried putting a little
incantation.
Incantation is a nice way to put it. A little incantation to calm you down, and it sent you into a slumber for a little while. I hope it wasn't a frightful slumber. Sweet dreams.
He looks at you, and he looks down at the floor, and he looks back at you, and he says, "You've done it. You've done this thing, haven't you? You've taken this great risk."
It did happen, yes, while you were out. I did not wish it so, but that's how it had to be.
By your own words, you wished it to be that way.
What is he? I'm confused. What does he mean?
I mean, he's saying you did wish it to be that way. You did wish to take the risk.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I meant I didn't wish it for him to be like out cold. I wanted to, make sure he was okay first. I guess I would reword it, say, time was of the essence. I wish I could have checked on you first, made sure you were woken up, but there was no time, and the deed has been done.
Am I so unreasonable to ask that you take care of yourself so that we might have a future?
I'm not going to get angry.
And sleep.
No, I mean, it's reasonable. Of course, it's going to be still begrudging. But I mean, I look at myself. It's like, well, I'm fine. I think we did take all the right precautions, and I am taking care of myself, as you can see.
Wow, he is not.
Oh.
I don't know what to say about you or one of your sorcerers using your arts on me. I don't know what to even think about that. I'm having a hard time just not checking my coin purse. You're like, oh, no charge.
That'll be 2 copper. Yeah,
The old KO special.
this is tough. I'm not sure. Yeah. I mean, all I can do is just try to convince him that he's in good hands, I say, that Adabir and the others, they mean the best for you and me.
Well, and hundreds of others.
Yes, and all others that are affected by, what we're doing here.
What is this danger that is approaching? Do the dragons wake again after 200 years? What is it that hangs so heavily over all of us that we should throw your life away? What is it?
Well, I recall in the past, I tried to tell him that it's a great evil. I mean, how could I get more specific? I mean, why don't I just Adabir? So this is what I say. Adabir is a very powerful wizard who is working on the side of good. You can only imagine the amount of destruction a wizard working for the side of evil would be able to accomplish. That's what, in simplest terms, that's what we're trying to.
That's the scale of it, at least.
Right. That's what we're trying to prevent.
What makes you so special? Where are the other people of faith involved in this?
What makes me so special? Well, I mean, I guess to put it in a way is that, I mean, in simple terms, I was able to detect this force, this evil wizard acting before anyone else was. I encountered it first, and I've held that responsibility to bring others against it. And
what sect do you belong to that would put such a charge on a young woman's shoulders? Are there not elders of your sect that could do this better than you? Not that I don't feel that you're capable and brave. Just some of the stories you've told me prove how brave you are, but this feels foolhardy.
well, I mean, what do I say? Perhaps it is. I won't doubt you that we're taking great risks. But I mean, that's how. What's the word? how do I want to word it?
So religiously, you could say it's sort of the will of the gods. It seems the will of the gods, right? Because you're sort of fated. There's a sense of fate to this, right? You're the one who came across it. So that's one approach that occurs to you.
So what I'm trying to argue, though, is that, I mean, there is the approach of, oh, we can wait 3 months and see what, the elders in Avalon. Oh, yeah, I mean, that's what I'll say. I'll say, I have spoken with the elders. I have spoken with, great powers, and they simply don't understand the importance of it. I think what we're doing here is the only way it will get done for certain. If that makes sense. To leave it to, I don't know, to leave it to the old and the wise and is too slow and imprecise. Maybe.
Well, I mean,
that seemed uncouth to say.
Well, that last part, I mean, it's really more like we have to try on every, we have to pursue every avenue available to us.
That's a better way of putting it. Yeah.
I mean, that really is more sort of the feeling, right? Is that it's so urgent that, while they're doing stuff, if there's anything I can do, I have to,
Yes. Yeah. I would word it as in, I can't just sit around waiting for the others to, take whatever routes they think necessary. I'm, we need to pursue this on every avenue.
He sort of stands up and he's pacing, and he goes to the window and he's kind of, not real angrily, but just kind of, kind of pounds on the wall a bit, kind of kicks the wall a little bit, just sort of absently,
Yeah.
And he's like, you are so committed, and I can't say that I don't admire that. I can't. And he stops and he looks outside and he's like, what are they yelling about? And you're like, oh yeah, oh right, they were yelling about something.
Right.
And so you go to the window, and sure enough, there are goblins pointing in the sky. Everyone's got bows and arrows.
Wow. I wonder if it's the Eagles.
No, they broke up years ago.
Is that a joke for my time? Some musical artist?
Come on. You know Eagles songs. Everyone knows Eagles songs. Yeah, you know Eagles songs. Even if you don't know them, you know them. Just because they're so giant in American culture. It's like, the Beatles.
Oh, yeah, of course.
It's so commonly played. And quite frankly, the music is so good, just like the Beatles, that you're like, oh, that's the Eagles? It's going to be one of those for you.
Probably, yeah. I'll have to look it up.
Well worth a listen. Well worth a listen.
I know a lot of old, a lot of them ring a bell. Like, oh yeah, I've heard that name, but like Eagles, man.
Right. Weird. And I'm bad about them too. Like off the top of my head, could I come up with a song by them? And music is my weakest area of knowledge, both pop and theory and all of that. But yeah, you'll hear them and you'll go. I mean, you'll probably know 5 or 6 of their songs.
Yeah.
But anyway, So
I go like, yes, the Eagles. All right, stay here, Aldrich. All right. I don't think I'll have an opportunity to go unless I can,
Yeah, you sort of got things.
Dinner, maybe.
Yeah, you sort of got things butting up against one another, and it may just be news that they're coming for. If they're coming for a meeting, then that's
really like, as an aside, how would it seem disrespectful to not like receive their message? You know what I mean? They do have, I don't know. I couldn't even tell, like, in their society, if
you are right to dread the fact.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, for any sentient being, to be ignored is bad.
Right.
You can't fathom a case in which that's not true, even if it's not true. You can't fathom. So you would still feel that you would want to do that.
Right. Okay.
How and when to go about that, or if it's avoidable at all. I mean, um, it's not like they don't know that you're surrounded by goblins.
Right.
Um,
Right.
so, um, so it's not going to be, it's not going to be altogether surprising that sometimes you're just unavailable.
Right. But it's still, it still might have a negative impression, but that might be unavoidable. So, okay. Well, we'll see if I can finish up with Aldruff and,
Take your leave and
and see if I can get out of here. I don't know. Let's just kind of play out the conversation with Aldruff and see where it goes.
Sure. So you guys are shoulder to shoulder looking out the window, basically.
Yeah.
And he puts an arm around you and he kind of starts rubbing your back, and you kind of, kind of melt into him a bit.
Yeah. I give an apology. I think would be good. I'm sorry for all that I'm putting you through. I know this is really hard on both of us.
And he says, I wish that I were more accustomed to this life. But it will take me time. Hey, Arpen.
Oh, yeah. Hey.
Obi-Wan's giving you musical suggestions from the Eagles.
Oh, Hotel California. I didn't know that's the Eagles.
See, I told you.
And Desperado. Wow.
I love Desperado because you can fit so many great words in there. Avocado, and just make it ridiculous. Avogadro. That's one of my favorites. And your number's so handy. And it's just, I put all kind of stuff in there.
Avogadro. Oh, yeah. So, really funny. Now I feel stupid. Good.
Well, no, it's just
everyone knows things. Yeah, you just don't know the artist.
And it's weird, right? Because and because of our friendship, right? I just realized, well, this is exactly what I went through at your age, right? Yeah. I am cheating because I have had 20 some odd more years to learn shit.
Yeah.
I'm just cheating is all I'm doing. It's not fair. But it is fun to say, oh my gosh, you may have missed this great stuff. Don't miss this great stuff. That's a great part about being older that I do adore.
Yeah.
Where it's like, you may not know this stuff. Oh, yeah, you can look at this stuff. That's so much fun. But anyway. So he says, he says, I can tell that what's going on out there is pulling you right now. And so he gives you a big embrace. He kisses you on the top of the head. And he says, we'll talk.
Can I get a kind of a feel about, does he seem a little let down about that, or does it seem like things are settled for now?
He seems like you are happy where things are. I'll tell you that, because it seems like he is willing to try to meet you halfway,
right,
as much as he can. And for him, you think it's coming back to he just admires your commitment and your bravery. Oh, I totally did. You're right.
So it's funny. That's something I talk with Michelle about a lot. And me, it's like we both admire that in each other. It's like, yeah, you want to get this job, and like, yeah, you want to do this stuff with writing and role playing, and so it's like awesome.
Yeah,
it is like a source of kind of attraction for couples or in people, so which is really good.
Yeah, I think I told you once that my favorite thing about being married is that it's like, at least a good marriage, which I'm very grateful that I have is that it's like having a cheerleader in your corner all day, every
Right.
day.
Right.
And it's just great. It's fantastic. You know, they support what you want. You know,
And they're happy when you achieve it. Yeah.
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 So, Quinn, for the record, I do now know that the song at the end of the Breakfast Club is actually sung by the Eagles. So, just sung by the Monkeys. That's what I should say.
Oh boy. Okay.
So you know, you guys embrace really hard, really longingly, and then you kind of pry yourself free, and he's like, go, 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 and you go. You yell at a servant to get you a loaf of bread going out the door.
Everyone, Karen says, "You have a good marriage." And it's like, well, nobody's open to other options. You know, there might be a door for you, Obi-Wan.
The only good marriage is an open marriage. First off,
An open marriage. I've never heard that term. Oh my gosh. Sorry, I didn't hear the last sentence you said. I was reading.
So you just, you know, because you haven't eaten, you know, and so you get some, you have just bread, you know, a loaf of bread brought to you. You can just tear chunks out of, and
right.
and
do I tell like Doshik or someone that I'm going really quick, or do I think it could be?
Tell, you know, you just tell the servants. You just call it out. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want anyone to, you know, stop me. And I mean, Doshik, you know, was pretty forceful last time about how important it was. But I know, I know my character is like, I'll be back in time. You know,
so it'll be fun.
She tries it apart. Yeah.
So so yeah, you go. They hand you a loaf of bread, so you get some food. And I think what I need to start doing is like when you eat a meal to go ahead and restore some exhaustion. I think that'd be a neat thing to start doing in the game, and I just got to figure out the way to do that.
Yeah, it's tricky because then you do like quality of the meal, you know, or how much, or you know.
Right, and we may not need to go to that level of detail, but you know, something where, because we can't have you always restore all of your points, right? Because that would suggest a character who never tires by the end of the day.
Oh yeah, of course not. No.
Right, and so we've got to have
only a fraction. Yeah.
Right, and so that's why my original thing was like whenever you rested, non-sleep rested, you gained up to half of your previous mark.
Right.
And then you lost, you gain half of that. And then as you go back, you can get half of that. And then, you know, it just keeps dropping. And I like that. But I'm thinking about a meal could exceed that limit maybe. And of course, sleep always can. So you realize with all the hubbub of yesterday, you know, you need to slow your roll, as they say in Karandrin. And you know, you just take your time. You're just no one clearly is sure where the eagle is. I mean, everybody's looking in different directions. Bows are drawn. There's definitely well, actually, I'll have you roll for it. And just, again, as a reminder, don't forget your, not that you need it now, but just don't forget your miracle roll.
Yeah. Really quick before I roll for this.
Yeah.
Did I make sure, I guess all my stuff is back in my room? I know it was on the wagon.
Yes.
We just
and what do you want to wear now?
I would have had my adventuring. Wait, would I? Hold on.
You'd have had your adventuring clothes on, and I guess
I don't think so, because I would have been tying with Aldrif. 2 nights ago, or the night before, right? And I would have been talking with him in the parlor. I was rushed from the parlor.
But with all your gear.
Oh, that's right. But I did change. So I would be in my adventuring gear already. Still would be in my adventuring
Well,
gear.
probably in your clothes, probably out of your gear.
Oh, sure. Well, yeah.
So the question is, do you want to go and gear up, or is it too urgent to gear up and you just want to grab a handful of things?
Let's let's not gear up. Let's just make sure I have my clothes and my cloak.
Okay.
Don't need any of my armor. And we will just grab my my spear, though.
Okay.
Spear and shield. Make sure I have those on.
Okay. I mean, you could go lower key. You could go just dagger and bola.
I mean, yeah, I actually grab dagger and bola too at my belt.
Okay.
Spear and shield.
But you, okay.
Protected. I've got magic if I need anything else, protection and stuff. So
right. And and don't think, as always, I tell every player in this game, don't think the purpose of things out here is to fight.
Right.
Have an escape plan, because that's going to be really handy.
Right.
And increasingly you're learning that you're just not good at dodging. Like, you get hit a lot.
Yeah. I should mention part of my belt was my potion pouch, right? That's on my belt here. So you'll have that available, all my potions and herbs. So taking off with that.
So get your horse so that you can make a little better time down the trail and hopefully get to some sort of spot. The problem is, of course, it's just with you traveling and they're traveling, the eagle's traveling, it's hard to sync up, you're realizing. I mean, you would have to camp out at that clearing and wait, Yeah,
I mean, I was going to make a fire, I was thinking, but even then, I hope it won't be too long for them to
right.
get out of it.
So here again, we have them buzzing the tower, so to speak, and, it's causing trouble. And it won't be long before that trouble is, rightly or wrongly, associated with you guys, right? You're an ill omen. You're
Right. Brise leaves, the eagles don't arrive.
Exactly. There's some like really smart guard with a chalkboard going, Brise was out these dates. No eagles. She's in these dates. Eagles appear 80% of the time.
Good gravy.
Eagle gravy, the best kind.
Ooh, delicious. I mean, that's how, that's chicken gravy. That's how you make it.
That's right.
All those gizzards and stuff. Anyway, enough about cooking eagles. I'm gonna ride down until I get to the safe spot where I can teleport and do a teleport to our.
Well, I mean, before you make that decision, you're probably going to be continually looking up and just reading.
True.
Eagle is,
True, yeah.
In
it's dark, I guess that's kind of tricky to do.
So that's true, because you can't. Well, you've memorized it though, so you don't have to do it by sight. You have memorized the location.
I'm not seeing the eagles.
Yeah. Right. Oh, I see. Right. Right. You don't have to.
I mean, I'll be like squinting up, and I'm like, to see where the stars are blotted out, right?
Right. Yeah. You're sort of to your safe teleport point, down about halfway down the road from, downslope from the keep. Right. And you you get off, and almost immediately an eagle alights. Horse is a little nervous, but you calm it very successfully. And, you turn to the eagle, at least the great form of it.
Yeah. Show it.
Human, the voice says. Somehow you know it's male. It's not the same one that you spoke to before.
Yeah.
The meeting of the wise is now and is urgently called.
Bad timing. Okay.
You both see and feel its head cock. It says, "Did you not hear me?" The wise do not wait on the young, such as you and I.
Let me think here. So I
You and
leave
me, I guess.
with him to see what happens. I'm going to be in this. It would be really cool, regardless, but I'd be leaving all of them behind. Wow, this is a really tricky situation. Very, very tricky.
Manling, the wise await, and a portal opens.
Okay.
And through it, snow is falling. And beyond it stand an array of beings.
What in the world?
Tie your animal and pass through without fear. It is the wise who will greet you. They will harm you not.
Oh, okay. I guess I'm going. I guess I'm going through. Okay, I'm not gonna pass this up. They can. I'm assuming they can wait a little longer at the keep. I'll just kind of sure, and tie up Judas, my horse, and
Hang him.
and yeah, get him out of here and saunter on through. A little nod to the eagle, thanks.
You stride through. This is a peak. Others have passed through this portal place. You see their tracks knee deep or so in the snow. I'm going to write down these names or I'm going to forget them. There is a swarthy, dark-haired, heavy man whose lower half somehow has been transformed into some sort of metal bowl that supports his lower body. And that bowl is itself supported by metal, silver, spidery-like legs.
You mean BOWL or like BULL?
BOWL.
Oh, okay.
There is, but let's start really with your host, which is the great eagle Korakal.
Right, Korakal.
Who stands proudly yet wounded, feathers blackened here and there, skin exposed in blackened patches that have herbs pasted here and there on them. Some of them are actually sewn on him.
Wow.
An eye sort of is lowered in injury, like he's recovering. He bows to you, which is just a gesture that is almost knocks you off the mountain in terms of just the grace and power of it.
Yeah.
And he says, "Welcome. We know you risk much in all of this, but from what you have told us and what we have learned ourselves, time is pressing. We will begin introductions as we proceed down to more hospitable heights for you." And you can see that some of the more human-like figures are perfectly happy with that arrangement because they're cold as well.
Right.
He introduces the swarthy, spider-limbed man as Oshekra.
Oshekra. He named Oshekra before. Wait. Kevin, wait a second. Wait a second. Okay, Oshekra was brought up by the wizard, this wizard that I came across who was like drunk and he was just babbling on about stuff. And this wizard says he might just do what Oshekra's done and leave to pursue their own agenda without permission. What's going on? Okay, I'm not sure if Bree should remember that, if that's me metagaming, but
Roll it.
That's an 18.
God bless.
Well, Max remembers, but I guess Brees will.
Roll again for me.
Okay. Wow, 9.
God bless.
Come on, Brees. What? That's like connecting two like completely separate like story threads into one. Oh my gosh. Okay.
There is a solitary tree, gnarled, stout, or at least you thought it was until it started walking, and it also bowed to you.
Okay.
It is just a knotted, it's a little grotesque to look at.
Yeah.
And sure enough, there is a face within the wood, very distorted, asymmetrical. The joints are bulbous. The limbs themselves are very heavy or at times alarmingly thin.
Right.
It's a very disjointed thing with this shaggy, deciduous crown of leaves. Very squat, very powerful. And
What in the world is going
and that is Denamimru.
I'm gonna wait for you to give me that spelling. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna try. How many N's? Like 6 or 7?
I think I'm going for 9.
Wow. Denamimru. Okay. All right, keep them coming. My notes are filling up with these descriptions.
There is an elven woman robed of some age, no doubt. She is introduced to you as Falrenar. Of course, you have Korakal the Eagle, There's a high woman, great height. Good Lord, she's probably 7 feet high. Also of some age. Dressed in this ragged robe with tatters that just, I mean, free floating tatters that circle her, dance around her. And her name is Javik, Javvik. Oops. And last is a just shriveled little goblin. Gender is uncertain. In this snow, he has foregone walking and just hovers over the snow. And he is called Plesh the Seer. Don't mind the double capitalization there.
Yeah, we got it. Javik, Plesh, Florunar, Dimin. I feel like I've walked into like the cantina in Star Wars. It's like, okay, a lot of unfamiliar faces, a lot of very strange faces. It's all right. Why don't we do an icebreaker? What's everyone's favorite pastime? What's everyone's favorite spell?
What did you do during the summer? That's the best part.
Oh my gosh. Whew.
So, yeah.
I mean, I don't even know where to begin if I even have a chance to speak. I imagine not.
You're probably the first speaker, wouldn't you think?
Well, like as we're walking, you know what I mean? Like,
I wonder how I could go about this.
Yeah, because I guess if I get a chance, I would just ask. Is like, I mean, y'all are called the Wise. I assume you have known each other for a long time.
Plesh, the little goblin, lets out a coughing, racking laugh, and says, "Absolutely too long." Dinamimru, the ancient ent, says, "Goblins waste so much air and cannot even part snow." Falramar just chuckles. Oshekra says nothing. Korakyle takes a jump into the wind, sails ahead, where in a little against a rocky, icy shelf, there is a large tent set up, shielded from the winds. And there is no doubt there are at least two little vaporous creatures, and you can see them whipping around, knocking snow off the roof.
Oh
They're
my
just
gosh.
keeping it nice and tidy.
I should have asked, is it's still like the same time of day? Like, is it nighttime where we are? No, like kind of evening?
You're on such a high peak that when you arrive, you can still see the sunset.
Oh, okay. Interesting. But so it feels like we haven't, we're still in this world, right? Yeah. I guess it makes sense because Korokai's here. Yeah.
Right. I mean, with friends like these, I don't guess it necessitates that that it necessarily follows that you are anywhere in particular, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
It's
it just would be good to know.
pretty big passports, I guess, is what I'm saying
Yeah.
here.
Well, that's another question I'll throw out there if I get a chance. It's like we must be in some very remote location.
Plesh again gives a racking cough and tries to say something and then keeps coughing and then just looks at you in disbelief and shakes his head. You're immediately liking him. Like just everything's a joke.
Yeah.
And you're like, goblins are just, they're always up for shits and giggles. I mean, how can you not have a good time?
Yeah. Yeah. I might go out on a limb and look at him and try to play along. And say, well, excuse me for not knowing the name of every peak and no.
I thought you were going to make an int joke when you said go out on a limb.
Ah, damn, I missed that opportunity. Sorry. Well, man, I missed. I'm not old enough to know that. I haven't been around for 1,000 years. Late to the party.
He cuts you a look like it's kind of ballsy, you know what I mean? Like just and then he has a racking cough laugh. You soon reach the tent. Korakal stands at the entrance. And Javik, the mage in tatters, she says just softly and just in a beautiful voice, she says, "I'm sorry to keep you waiting, Korakal." She gestures with her hand, and the entrance to the tent just blossoms and swallows you all.
Whoa.
And inside, I should have you roll.
39.
Yeah, I mean, with plus adding your skill, this is at least it's a tent of luxuries, which is to say that it automatically provides warmth.
Oh, it's a magic item.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is larger on the inside than it is on the out. It automatically provides food. It's clearly one of the larger varieties of it. It's at least that item, probably more so. There are, that item also just immediately provides just amenities. So there's pillows everywhere, low couches and things like this. Oshekra picks his way through the couches, trying not to pierce the pillows, trying not to pierce them with his spine-like legs. I think what we ought to do
Yeah, I feel like this discussion should take a while.
Well, I mean, it depends on how we handle it, of course.
Yeah.
And we are getting toward the end, and we could sort of get to a point. I do want to do some preliminaries in the sense of let's roll your intuition, your immediate feeling about each of these characters,
Sure.
so that you know how your character is perceiving and approaching them. So let's start with Oshekara, setting aside what you remember about him, the rumors about him, or information you've heard elsewhere, your impression of him, your intuition about him.
Right.
So give me that roll.
And his spider legs, 44.
Very uncertain about him. He's very hard to read. And Dinamimaru.
4.
Roll again and subtract it.
Minus 46.
Darkly held secrets. Dark agenda. Falramar.
68.
What's the word? What is the word?
Bird.
That's Doshrik. Not evil, but sort of severe and self-serving in the sense of their own ambition. But they wouldn't, they're not going to sacrifice a baby or anything.
Right. Self-serving toward their ambitions.
Koraka will skip. Let's do Javik.
16.
An unknown element. Hard to read.
Sorry, Bhuwan, I stole your thunder. Yeah. They also get bird.
And Plesh.
81. Of course.
More moral than he wants people to see is your feeling. But probably more scheming than is good for him.
Sure.
I don't know how much we want to go into the meeting. There's some parts of it, obviously, that we can just roll through very broadly, which is things like, how much do you want to tell them? Like, we don't have to have you verbalize
everything, yeah.
Your sort of oratory. We need to determine what you're leaving out.
Well, if we're gonna do that, we'll probably do that for next time because we might forget that ourselves. Like
in between
the same session.
Right.
Yeah, so
wow. So we've gone from out of the frying pan into the wise. I don't know what to say.
Going mountaintop.
That's right.
Wow! What a turn. I'm curious how long, because I spoke with the one eagle. Korakile's servant. Rhea. When did I speak with them?
How's that spelled?
On the April Rhea. Rhea. I spoke with them on the 30th. April 30th. So now it's May 5th. Yeah, so in 5 days it took them to gather their wow, it's very fast. Speedy.
Well, I got to roll all these guys up, which won't be hard thanks to my NPC roller.
Yeah.
roll.
Just make sure you give them like plus 100 to all their like stats, you know.
Right.
Detection of lies, yeah, 175.
Right. I always do it like, you know, I'm like, okay, well, like what role does this guy play in the game, right? Like, okay, he's a king, but he rolled like a 25 on his detection, his lie detection. Well,
Right.
that's a 25 compared to other kings. That's not a 25 compared to a level 1 guy.
That's fair. That's fair, actually.
And it saves me a lot of having to, you know, tweak the Excel sheet.
Absolute, you know, extremes. Yeah.
Right. So it's like, oh, well, here's a wizard, but he knows, you know, 25 about other worlds. Well, it means he knows some.
Right.
You know, whereas if you were a level 1 character, you rolled 25. You know, it means you've read them in fairy tales and you don't know if they're real or not.
Yeah. That's what I love about the D100 is because it makes those comparisons really easy. It's like 25, 75. It's like, oh yeah, one's 1/4, the other's 3/4.
Right.
On a D20, it's kind of like, you know, you get like 7 and then like 12. And it's like, you know, it's kind of hard to say how much better.
Right.
Without doing some mental math.
Yeah, fine gradations, you know, and you can do some of that stuff, you know. Of course, I guess it's probably more useful maybe in a 3d6 or something where it's like, if you do you take like say the Dungeons and Dragons, the various bonuses they've assigned various numbers over the years, right? Choose one, and what you do is you square it.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
you square the bonus, and you're like, no, this is seriously a step up when you go to these, and that's one way you can approach it. But yeah, whenever you don't like a role as a game master, like if it's going to mess with the game, then throw it out and say, you know, make it whatever's the minimum necessary, or make it extremely narrow, but it has the necessary role, you know, like we know he's a lot about this one world. That's all he's ever cared about as this, even though he's this great powerful magic user, that's, you know, or whatever the case may be.
Or if the king is bad at lie detection, perhaps it's because he's succumbs to flattery, you know.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Not just generally can't read people. You know?
Right. Although certainly that happens too, you know.
True.
So, wow. Well, there you go.
All right. Yeah. That will be where we leave off, and next time we'll be talking about this interesting conversation to be had.
It's going to be 2 huge, interesting conversations. I mean, it's not going to be a lot of combat, but boy, is it going to be a lot of development and like who's throwing their chips into the game. Do we get new information that redefines the game? It's going to be very interesting.
Right.
Next time.
I'm a little scared too. Do any of these forces like, no, we're going to take care of this, you know, and just as what is so funny, just what Aldrich was alluding to, you know.
Right.
It's so apropos.
Well, and I was thinking you were going to say just like Tegra was planning to do. You know,
what do you mean? As in,
well, here you have the wise, right? But that's not to say they can't be tempted.
Oh, right.
To go make an alliance.
True.
Or with the best of intentions, they go to negotiate.
Right.
And then that, you know, that goes south. Yeah. And then, you know, so.
It's going to be like the Council of Elrond. It's like, no, okay, let's just go do it. You know, there's don't need a long debate about like what to do. Just.
I always forget that they actually debated taking it out to the Great Sea, the ring, and dumping it in the Great Sea.
Yeah, they throw out a couple like ideas. Yeah.
Yeah. And they say no, because he has
will be
creatures
found.
there, and it's only a matter of time. It only delays what we have to do.
Right.
Which I'm glad they go over those things. It seems very realistic that they would visit those possibilities. So
Quinn keeps saying, when is Aldrich going to get captured and tortured? And I can't tell if he really despises Aldrich or there's some twisted fantasy he has. He's waiting to be
that's it.
manifested.
Yeah. No, that's it.
For 10,000 Karandrin points or $300, you can have your fantasies come true.
We're going to start selling Aldrich voodoo dolls that you can have, you know. So
yeah.
We could do voodoo maps. Okay. Now here's my idea. We sell the map, right? And you can take your own copy of the map and put pins in Brise's location to give her more trouble. Like if she's, you know what I mean?
Drop a troll right there on Alamar.
That's right. When did they invent parachutes? Yeah, I mean it'll be.
That's really funny.
So, well, guys, this is his face off. This has been quite a session. We really appreciate you guys hanging out with us. As always, it's been a treat. We're going to try to get more people hanging out. Also, as a little announcement, there's now a little link in the description if you want to go buy my book, which I'm pretty proud of. I can't lie to you. We're going to be adding that to the website, and I'm still trying to work on content for that. I'm sorry, guys. But as always, like, subscribe, donate if you feel like we're doing a good job. Always, leave comments on the YouTube videos and tell us what you think. Max, of course, is active on YouTube as well. You can find him there on his YouTube channel, where he discusses video games and music arrangements and how they work together. And as always, thanks to Elliot Dunavitz for Brise's character art. And you can find her at artstation.com/Tortellua. Guys, we just really appreciate it. Here we are at episode 44. Regardless of our limited audience, I think we both really enjoy doing it.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. So
thanks for all those people who do keep coming out and commenting. It makes me smile. I'm sure Kevin appreciates it too.
Yeah, we really do. It's fun to have the interaction and people giving us both the business and I guess, is there any reason we won't be back next Wednesday?
No, I think next Wednesday is good.
Okay, I've already got the announcement up on YouTube, but of course I could always change that right after this. Guys, thanks again. We will see you next Wednesday. I believe that's April 6th at a regular time, and we will have our own little Council of the Wise, and then we'll have a little council of the magical scouting that Brise did at Crowlam's prison. So we'll see what comes of that next week, episode 45. I hope you're there. Max, say goodbye to these nice people.
Yeah, thanks everybody. Hope to see you next week.
We'll see you, gang.
Cheers.